Welcome to Family Business Diaries, the podcast where we unravel the secrets of family businesses. I'm your host, Mary Asante Asamoah, and today we have an extraordinary episode that delves into the complexities of creating and managing a legacy within the family business space. In this special episode, we're thrilled to feature not just one, but two generations of leadership from the same family business. Mr. Samuel Patrick Oduro, founder of the Universal Hospitals Group, and his daughter, Neena Oduro, Chief Operating Officer of the Universal Hospitals Group. Universal Hostels Group is a Ghanaian family business that has grown to encompass three subsidiary companies: Universal Hostels Supply Limited, Universal Hostels Project Limited, and Unirock Pharmaceuticals Limited. Founded in 1988 by Mr. Oduro, the company started with a mission to supply medical and hospital equipment and has since become a leader in the healthcare sector. Joining him is his daughter, Neena Oduro, who brings a wealth of experience to her role as COO. Together, we'll explore what it takes to build a business from the ground up, the challenges of transitioning leadership from one generation to another, and how to ensure longevity while maintaining trust and collaborating within the family. Mr. Oduro and Neena, thank you so much for joining us on Family Business Diaries. It's an honor to have you both on the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's dive right in. Mr. Oduro, I want to start with you.
Okay.
Your story. I just want to know what inspired you to start Universal Hostel in 1988. I mean, and your journey. Just tell us about your story.
Okay. But it has a long story behind it. If you want me to dive into it, um, in a paragraph. This happened after in States, I formed a company with good friends of mine. There were two guys, so we were three, to be like a consultant company. And unfortunately, it didn't work. Okay. So what happened was I have to, because at that time I was working with the bank. I was among the pioneers that set up National Cooperative Bank in Washington, D.C. This was given the money to set up by Jimmy Carter at that time. And after being there for about 4 or 5 years, I wasn't really happy. So I get together with some good friends of mine. One late Mr. John Insia and one Joe Amenya. He has one of those Atada, those sea safari, Atada. So myself, Joe, and John, we set up a consulting company. And the whole idea was to advise American companies that would be interested. At that time, we had ECOWAS, the Community of African, West African countries formed. So we thought we'd be able to advise some businessmen, entrepreneurs, or investors to come in. And we thought so at that time. But unfortunately, it didn't work out, to cut it short. I don't want to go into detail. And then the question was, at that time I quit my bank job and I left. There was no money coming from nowhere. So what happened was I had a good Korean friend at a Korean trade mission in New York City. So I talked to him during the conversation. I said, "Hey, Sam, I can put you around with my brother in Seoul, Korea, so that maybe you can visit and then see what kind of business you can come out with." So I made a trip. I made a trip to Seoul, Korea, and then I met them. And luckily or unluckily, they gave me these medical items, most of these disposable items, to see if we could get market in United States, in the States. Yeah. But I brought the items. I met with some of the doctors and procurement department heads of some of the hospitals. But an American, if you a doctor, you're using an equipment and something goes wrong, it's a big deal.
Yep.
So they look at it, they like it, but they were a little bit scared to patronize it. So at that same time, I had a friend, a very good friend, Professor Ayensu. He was the chief curator for Smithsonian Library in Washington, D.C. So he was coming to Ghana. I discussed and says, "Oh, Sam, guys, give me copies, give me samples. So let me go and see what happens." And to cut it short, he brought it. So after a while, I did receive some feedbacks, which were good. So I decided to come in. This was in 1988. And I gathered some money through friends, borrowed some money, purchased some of the items, some equipment were suction machines and all those related to hospital. So I brought in, but the payment became a problem. And at that time, I left a job. I left two girls with my wife, and the girls were Nina and Jackie at that time. So when I came in, I decided, because the whole idea was to take maybe 2 weeks and then go back.
Yeah.
But to tell the truth, it took me over 6 months. Yeah, before I was able to, because the people were not ready to pay. So I had to look around the system, hospitals that would be, luckily I got Obuasi Gold, Ashanti Goldfield, yeah. They were able to buy the equipment. And I tell you how happy I was, because that was the same time that I was with my good friend, Joseph Boakai. Now he's His Excellency Joseph Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia. And then I was able to sell. So Ghana has started the foreign exchange. So I went in with the city, exchanged the dollars, and then I took it to the United States. And I can imagine how happy my wife was, because I was able to bring in some money. So at that time, but before I left, I just registered Universal Hospitals Supply Limited.
Okay.
That is the parent company of UAG, which is Universal Hospitals Group. That's when I set it up. And it took some time before I came back, which was 1989, the following year. That's when I came back. And I decided not to go back and try my luck and see what happens. So, in a nutshell, it's more to say, but this is the whole what actually compelled me to set up the company.
Amazing story. I mean, this is really inspiring, right? I'm hearing the
I
power of
say
networks because clearly
it's very important. If you have good network system, you can make it. Yeah.
and I love the fact that you can hear the challenges with setting up business then. I mean, you're coming from the States, well, on that side, not being received. And then on this side,
Hmm.
when it comes to money, it's understanding the business environment and
Yeah.
just being resilient and
Yeah.
pushing through. So God bless you for not giving up and
Thank
waiting.
you.
Because somebody if you're targeting 2 weeks, after 1 month, someone will be frustrated and say, forget this.
Yeah.
But you stayed through.
And that's why most of us outsiders, when we come back, it hasn't been easy, and it's never going to be easy. But you have to stuck to it. Yeah.
Nah, that's amazing. But listening to this story, then it's obvious that when you started, the plan was not to bring your children in and hand over. Did you have all that in mind when you were starting
No,
off?
no, no. I didn't have that in mind. I didn't have that in mind. Why? Because I didn't know what kind of professionals they're going to get into. Now, it wasn't easy. But fortunately or unfortunately, I was able to maneuver, stay in there. And a great number of praise also will go to my late mother, because she also insisted that I stayed in Ghana. I say, no, it will work, it will work, it will work. And yes, yes. And I stayed, and hopefully, oh, thankfully, it's worked.
And we've moved from one company to three. You have three subsidiaries.
Yeah, yeah, we do. And even we set up another one within this 1D, 1F
Oh, okay.
in my village. You see, I'm from Bordia, Aquatia, in the eastern region. And the older, even the younger ones who know Aquatia is known for diamond. And the whole system is when you go into the field, the topsoil, you take off the topsoil, the next left is a gravel where the diamond pebble, these are industrial type of diamond. After that comes in clay, and that's what you use for ceramics. Ceramics, like sanitary ware, like toilet bowls,
Yes.
ceramic sinks, and all those things. And that's what we're going to produce
In your
in my
hometown.
area. Yeah.
Wow.
We finish with a building. We get almost about 50% or 60% of the equipment in, but we still have a little bit more more to go on to be able to compete, and then we start producing. Hopefully, if everything works next year, we hope to produce. Yeah.
I'm thinking something. You didn't just move back to Ghana, but you actually went back to your hometown. You're making a difference in your hometown as well.
Hopefully, I hope they will be able to appreciate it, and because that's no job. When you go there, you see all these young folks with basically nothing. The diamond is finished; it's gone, and now they're doing galamsey, which is the gold. But with this one, if we're able to set it up and start running it, even we are not just thinking of Ghana, we're thinking about the whole of West Africa.
That's good.
Hopefully, we hope to be able to start the producing manufacturing next year. And I tell you, for direct employment, I think we hope to get between 500 to 1,000. And then the indirect should be more.
More because those
Yeah,
catering and
because
all of
those who will be able to set up retailing all over the area and that kind. So I think it will be a good outfit.
we'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll do a follow up on this one because I'm
Okay.
very interested. I think this is it, right? This is a solution to our problems. This is it. We create jobs, and that's what I keep pushing for family businesses. That we're not just creating. We're a significant part when it comes to economic development, and I think
Mm-hmm.
people fail to see that. So God bless you very much for
Thank you.
giving back.
Thank you.
But Nina, I know you're feeling left out, so let me come to you now. 1988, well, daddy left. I'm sure you probably don't even remember much of that, so we won't go there.
No,
But
no.
but what inspired you to join the family business? I should start with him, but I want to hear from you first. Like, what inspired you? Because I'm listening to a story. I'm like, wow. So did you choose your courses because you knew you wanted to be a part of the business? Like, tell us your story.
Well, honestly, no. Like he said, it wasn't something that we all spoke about. We just knew Daddy was a businessman in Ghana. So none of us really knew what he did, and none of us really desired to know what exactly he did. So we just kind of did our own thing. When I was in school, I did take business just to be on the backup, but I was like, I'm not doing finance. I'm not doing, accounting. I'm just going to do marketing. And that's what I did. And then from there, I think working a couple of years after that and just kind of like navigating, like, okay, is this really what I want to do? Is this really where I want to go? It took some time. So I had a first trial, and I think it was like 2007 or something. I
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
first
Yeah. Yeah.
trial.
So sometimes.
And like you said, it was a good maybe 3 months stint. And I was like, okay, this is not what I expected. I'm going to go back. And so, yeah. So it wasn't what I expected. So then I was like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. I think this is cool, but I just need more structure and stability. And I just wasn't adapting very well, I should say. So then I went back, and then I believe it was 2016. That's when he came knocking on my door again.
Two, seriously, it took that
Yes.
long, and he
Yes.
had to ask this time.
This time he asked, and this time it was a bit more realistic. Things had been situated and structured a bit more. And at that point, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So it was a struggle for me to actually like transition my life there because I was like in my mid 30s at the time, or probably late 30s, maybe mid to late 30s. And so like I still was kind of navigating like what's this going to be like with my life? How is this going to impact me professionally, socially? Like I just was still trying to, but I knew he really needed it, and I was probably the one at the time with the best fit. So I pushed my ego aside and I said, okay, I will do this for my dad. And really, that was the intent, coming in with the mindset, I'll do it for my dad. And I think as I got in it, it got bigger for me. It was not just doing it for my dad. It was like, wow, these people really depend on the company and the way they admire my dad and the way they even view me. I'm kind of like, whoa, like this is bigger than just doing it for my dad. And I think that's what got me more and more passionate about doing it and doing it with the right intent and the right heart. And so I just stayed.
I was going to ask you about the transition from corporate, but you've mentioned that. But I mean, let's compare when you came the first time
Mhm.
to this time. I mean, forget their structure bit. From your end, right? Do you think your mindset had something to do? Like, what was different, right?
Yeah, it was definitely the mindset. When I first came, it was like I just wanted to get a job, and he was like, "Okay, just come to Ghana and you got a job. It's guaranteed." But the job was not, I had just got my MBA at the time, so I was just like, this is not what I think I want to do. Like I want something like a bit more.
Bragging
Yeah.
rights. So
And he was like, okay. So I went back and I started looking for jobs and got an opportunity. And then at that point, I think that opportunity that I got, it opened my eyes to how to work globally, because the organization I was with had a Ghana office, and they looked at me as the expert, and I was like, I worked there a little bit, but but it was informative, and it helped me learn and understand like how the systems work and how things are done there a little bit. And then at that point, I had visited a bit more, so it was like, okay, if I do this, I think I can kind of grasp things. And the second time I came, it was a little bit easier because now I was in a position to create and develop systems and try to have some sort of structure and then reconstruct it again and so that helped because when you're in that stages of the process of a business, um and thank God he just gave me the autonomy too, like to do that, because if he didn't, I think I would have been a little bit restless because it just wouldn't work smoothly. It just would have been like
do you think? I mean, he probably gave you that autonomy because I mean, you're also capable. You proved that you could do that job as well, right?
I think he believed in me. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dad, but I think
Uh, uh,
he believed in me before I even believed in myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think she can do it, but it takes a lot, especially with the experience she had in the United States and then coming to Ghana or Africa per se. It takes a lot. It takes a lot because as the saying say, when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. And you have to learn how Ghanaian businesses are run and be able to stay or sustain the businesses. Here, even you perform the job, you raise the certificate for payment, and it can take a whole month, 2, 3, and you're not paid. But in States, it's completely different. Once the certificate gets in there, they go, okay, they say come back in 2 weeks. By the time you come in, your check will be in an envelope waiting. So when you go and you say, oh, go into the box, you look through, sip through, and your check is in there. There's no middleman. There's no anybody in between to, oh, why don't you do this? It's just simple. But here, it's a completely different thing. So she has to learn, and that's what I've been trying to coach her to understand if she can really do it. And I know she can do it because now I have to let somebody take over. Whether I like it or not, I have to. So I have to groom somebody, and she's the one that I think I can groom for the children, and she's the first one. So if she can do it, I will give her all the help, and I know she can do it.
She's been doing a good job so
Yeah,
far.
so far. So far, she's done a wonderful job. She came in, restructured the whole organization, because before there was overlapping of responsibilities. You might be the CEO. CEO wants to do everything, okay? But that's not the way to do it. The CEO, you have to delegate. You have your HR people. They will do the hiring, the right personnel for you. And then you have the finances. They check the money coming in, going out. So it's well structured right now. So she can even stay home and then still run the company.
So that works for you because then you have the best of both worlds, right? If your systems are working and the structures are in place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it has. It
Yeah,
has.
yeah. It's
It
just
took some
knowing how
time.
to manage the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what your biggest challenges are as the CEO, but I think we've
Oh,
discussed it
I think
somehow,
it will
right?
be hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there something you want to add? Because sometimes when you come in as, the boss's daughter, you have to prove yourself, right? So as CEO, what has it been like? What has been your biggest challenges working?
I think I saw it in the beginning when I first came, how
Yeah.
management definitely operated when it came to my father. So I felt I will leave that space to another phase. That's not the phase I'm really focusing as much now. And I really targeted middle and lower level staff so that they could kind of get more, I should say, like, feel more obligated and empowered in the business. And I think that helped me in understanding who I was and defining my own identity. And then at that point, by the time I moved up, my identity was kind of structured as this is not necessarily, it is the daughter, but she has her own way of doing things too. And I was grateful. I was very good. But that was my dad's idea. He basically, we would sit down and talk about, like, where do I start here? And he was just like, this needs to be your terrain, and I'll do over here. And when I feel you're ready, then you come on this place as well. And I was okay with that because I was really coming in to study more this time and understand a bit more than I was before, because I was a bit open. This time I was open to come.
Before you came as,
The daughter of the CEO.
entitled.
Yes, very much so. I was like, yeah, I'm here.
I'm glad you got to go out there and then come back in, right? I
Yeah,
mean, so do you
yeah.
think sometimes getting that exposure from outside that helps a lot, right?
I think it helps. I think it helps, but I think you have to be open-minded. Fixed mindset will not get you too far in Ghana. No, 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 no. You have to be open and adaptable and really flexible. So sometimes if you're stuck in a corporate environment stateside and you need to, transition, yeah, it's very difficult if they're not open-minded. But I
Then you'll be
think
very frustrated when you're here
yes,
because you're like, why?
and you just want to go back home. You start meetings and then it's maybe an hour, 30, 40 minutes late, and people just casually roll in thinking this is normal. Oh, it's traffic. Well, traffic. So it's a culture that you have to understand, I think.
Thankfully you have daddy around, and
Yeah.
I mean we're talking from 1980 till now, so he's seen different sides of Ghana. Like he has the experience, so
Mm-hmm.
he can hold
Mm-hmm.
your hand
Mm-hmm.
and guide you, right?
Yeah.
So that's very good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
there's pressure on you because we
Yeah.
expect you to move this to the next level,
Yes.
and he's coaching you for now, so take the lesson seriously.
Amen.
Okay. All right, but I want to get let's talk family. So now we're
Mhm.
talking, working together. How do you handle disagreements? I mean, when you came in, and maybe the second time you said you came with an open mindset, so that helped. But maybe you can use the first part as an example, but how do you handle, disagreements? Or can you share a point where you had different opinions and how, what is it like when daddy says one thing and you think, no, let's go this way? How do you handle that?
I think when my dad when I first came, I think me and my dad had a conversation, more so like a family meeting amongst ourselves, to discuss like, look, this is my strong suit, and I'm comfortable here for now, and this is yours. And his leadership style was different from my leadership style. But the thing is that we both understood it enough to say, you move here and I move here. And then learning under him too, he would take me under and he would say, hey, this is how you have to act this way when you go to ministries or when you go here, and this is how you have to do this and this. So that was me understudying him too, because sometimes he was like, just go, just pop up and say hi. And, sometimes I'm like, I just don't even have the bandwidth to do that. But
Stakeholder management,
understanding,
please.
yeah, understanding that I had to, I had to do that so that my face could be a bit more known as his daughter. And then the trust is built that way. Yeah. And we've had disagreements. What we have done, though, I've learned from him a lot, is manage your emotions in the office. Manage your emotions in the office. When we get home, we can talk about it, but in the office, manage your emotions. And it took some time. That level of intelligence,
So sometimes you're like,
and yeah, emotional intelligence was it was you had to. That's a one that I definitely know I needed to learn. So I think for me, when the conflicts happen, he would give me a look like, and I would have to compose and know, okay, it's not the time. I can't even go into his office and close the door and say, let's talk about it. He won't
he
listen.
won't listen
He'd be
because he
like,
doesn't want it to escalate.
yes.
Mm. We want to hear your side.
No, I think she's 100% right. Um, my philosophy has been that when it's business, it's business. Let's do business. And when we go home, if we have discrepancies or misunderstandings or then we can talk about it and then find solution to it. So basically, but I tell you, she's done so well. Ever since she really decided to join, she came in, put the whole structure of the company together. And that has taken a whole lot of load off my back. Now I'm retired. I'm chairman of the board, not the CEO no more.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't do the everyday running of the company. We have, luckily, through her insistence and everything, we get somebody who is running the company as a CEO. And so far, I think he's been doing okay.
But
Yeah,
this is a major thing for family businesses because
yeah,
I mean, even the founder leaving his seat, they hardly do that. You hardly find founders. No, I want to stay there till I'm ready to go.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
also opening up and allowing non-family members to take leadership positions. We don't do that, right? Because we feel it's our thing. So I think we have to commend
It's
you guys.
true. It's
Yes.
true. But I think through the training I had at school, and also what I found out when I came back, because I left Ghana in 1969. It's a long time.
Yeah, I won't try.
Don't even show me that space. I know it's a long
Oh
time.
gosh.
We knew about Siam, Bata Shoe Company. What else? There's so many Ghanaian companies. But when I came back, they're all gone. And the whole thing is they never prepared their children that were interested in the company to be able to participate in it. I even I blame myself now that I should have started with this case from holidays, when they had a holiday, they should come, and then I could put them here, you be there, do carry the letters to the other department, that kind of thing. So when you get them involved, then you, as a father, as a head of the company, you can tell where each one will suit properly. If you do that, but coming in at that kind of age is already they're already prepared to do their own thing. They chosen their professions. But I'm lucky that she also did. I did my MBA. Mine was in finance and banking, and that's what I work with the banks. And then but she took MBA. So at least, and that's what I tell people. If you've gone through MBA program, hey, you might be petrochemical engineer or whatever, MBA. When they put you in charge of taking the trash, you will be able to design in your mind how you can take the trash without that much sweat, okay, that much hustle, and at the end of the day, you done the job perfectly well. That's what education is all about. Yes. And she's done very, very well. I know she can take over. All that I will ask her to do is to feel that, hey, I'm in charge, and then be able to push it.
That one.
It's not,
Hey, I'm in charge. It's not that simple,
it's
right?
not
Yeah,
Oh,
simple.
why
yeah.
don't you feel you're in charge, boss lady? Tell us.
I think it's just like out of like respect, the fact that like you still respect what he's done or what my dad has done and how far he's gone. And I just don't have that bandwidth of wisdom and levels to say I'm now in charge. I think I've grown, I've matured definitely to now feeling a little bit that level of like I could do this. But balancing out family and life is where I think sometimes makes me a little bit like, yeah, we gotta iron it out a little bit clearer so that I could say that officially. But I'm working on that. That's the second phase we are.
To feel. So I, I
Yes.
I can understand you. And then of course there's the family side, like you say. But being in charge, of course, there's the ownership aspect, right? And then there's the day-to-day stuff, which I think you've structured well by having the CEO. So at least that's managed. Yeah. But you need to something has to
I
go up in there.
know, I
Daddy, give her time.
know.
She work on it. But I
Okay, that's good.
I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
So, but it's
Yes,
just a matter of understanding. Yes, we always feel they have the experience. You can never take away from, what
he did.
founders have.
Yeah.
And I think what they should be doing for us is sharing their stories, is writing about the things that they do, holding the hands of the next gens to help. So, how are you doing that? Have you shared your story? You should write. Are you writing? What are you doing to also help pass on this knowledge or pass on the wisdom that you have, the experience?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought this. And as a matter of fact, I just put up a book. It's basically memoir of.
It's not. It's a huge thing.
Okay,
Congratulations.
thank
Yes,
you.
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
yes,
And the
yes.
whole thing is it starts from my childhood, from the village. Unfortunately, my parents didn't have education, but my father was more exposed to, at that time, CPP, Convention People's Party, which was Kwame Nkrumah's party. He was way up there in our village, in our area, Kwetia. He was the vice chairman of CPP.
Hey,
And
there's a
he
big
saw,
man.
yeah, and he saw how somebody, because the guy who represented our area, constituency at that time, one Honorable Dako Sakwa, he started as a bookkeeper at Cast, the Diamond area. And he rose to become, I think, a deputy minister of trade and industry. And then Nkrumah's, yeah. And he was my father's buddy. you know. But because the good thing about my father was he could speak different languages. And I'm talking about the Ghanaian dialect, like, and even foreign, like Nigerian, Yoruba, Ewe. Just getting to meet you, getting be closer to you within a
Nina,
matter
that's
of
pressure on you.
and I always say, I'm sorry that none of the children or even the grandchildren has been able to pick up that kind of gift. Because to understand somebody's language is the best thing you can. That's how you get along with them. When they feel you can speak their language, they connect easily,
So all this
easily.
is in the book. I don't want you to tell
Yeah,
us about the book because.
and I don't want to say too much in the book.
But Nina,
Okay,
that's a cheat
but
sheet for
this
you.
is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way the whole thing. But my father made sure, because of the exposure he had, he said, "No, I won't let my children go without education." So to me, education is more important, and with that, we've been able to make it. So, um, and my children, she can bear me out. I told them as soon as they were born, I said, "Hey, at least a first degree, every child of mine should have it."
But now we've done
Now they're
Beyond
over
done
and above.
moreover. So it makes me feel proud.
Oh,
And I wish my father were to be around. He would be, oh my goodness. But that's how the whole system should be. Yeah. So I think she can do it. It's just a matter of a little more, where do I put it? Nina?
ironing it out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, 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 yeah. No, 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 because she's the one who is going to take over. So I have to be on her to be able to. But I think now she's grown up. She understands the responsibility that is involved in running a company. It's not easy, but it can be easy if you know, number one, how to talk to your workers. You have to respect them. Without them, your company will not be. You know how to handle them, and also at the same time be faithful, truthful with the companies that you deal with. And that's it.
do you think that our approach, as next gens, the younger folks, do you think sometimes our approach to business is different from how you guys have it?
Yes,
Things have
yes,
changed,
yes. Things have changed.
but
Things have changed so much because now every young man or woman wants to become a millionaire within a matter
quick
of,
action.
yes, the chances are there, but you have to at least give yourself within the next 4 or 5 years, and you work hard. You don't just sit.
Doing it in 2 months and 3 months.
They want to be millionaires, and that's why it's not working. Take, for example, you take a small seed of anything, put it in the earth, let it grow. How long it takes? Yeah, you have to nurture it. You have to be able to water it and, before it grows and it becomes big, and you get more seeds out of the one single seed that you grow. So this is what we should take life to be. You will become millionaire, but you have to work hard. Be focused, like what this the background people are doing. They can become perfect professionals or experts, let me put it that way, and by working over and over and over and over. Yeah.
Before I go to my next question, which will be for the two of you, I want to ask. I mean, you keep saying she's taking over. I have to be on her. She's taking over. How, I mean, did you ever think that there's a possibility she would say no, she's not interested in.
Oh yeah, so many times, even before I approach her, because that's what I'm saying. If I had from the beginning with my case and get them involved, then you as the man or the older, you'll be able to see which one, even right from the beginning. So will tell you we are not interested. But there might be one or two that might show interest, and then you just nurture them.
So
You
that
know,
fear of rejection
yeah.
was there.
Because let me tell you one thing: when she first came, I knew her mind was she was coming to be CEO. But I thought if I put her in as a CEO, number one, even the guys around me might disagree.
Yeah, because where is she coming from?
Where's she coming from? And then all of a sudden she comes to as a CEO. But where I put her, I know she disagree with me, but I think, and I still think it was a proper way to do. I put her in charge of the security. He was in charge of the security people, then from the security to building maintenance and all that. Why did I do that? Because those people, they have a lot to tell you as a head. Any organization, on the ground, they have a lot.
But she was coming from her corporate office in New York or wherever
Yeah.
with her, there were their shoots and stuff.
And that's why we have a
Oh, that's why she
disagreement.
left.
Yeah. That's why she left. And
Nina.
also the social life. I knew it. The social life played a major part. Making friends, and she left all her friends over there in States. Now she has to start all over again. So a whole lot of problem were put on our shoulder. So it's not easy. So if you coming in from the diaspora and you want to set up, you have to consider all this.
So I think that key thing is intentionality. I mean, if you know from the start that as the founder, I want my children involved, maybe if she was coming home every summer, for instance, then she'd make friends
Yes, you
here as
should
well.
make
All of that,
friends.
right?
Exactly. I'm not saying go and bring them go to school. It will be good if they continue their education here, but most of them will not do that. They will go and come back during the holidays to be able to. So I think the young generation should take note, just put that in practice. And if we do that, we should get young children involved in whatever we do if we want them to be part of it, and also to sustain the family businesses. It's very important.
That's key.
Let them show you if they are interested. If they are not interested, definitely there's nothing else we can do but to hire right people to run the company.
So that's actually my next question to you guys. Long-term vision for the family business. I mean, are you hoping to keep this going? Is there an exit strategy? Do you intend to let it remain in the family forever, or sell at a point? What's the plan? Maybe we should let Nina start so that we know her thoughts and what she has
Okay,
in
okay.
mind.
And then later on, I can
And
tell
then
her
you can
my
tell me
thought.
what the true thing is.
It's good.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
So at the moment, it's good that you asked this question actually, because we're
Yeah.
revising our succession plan at the moment. And so through that, it's really looking at where I am, what I'm looking towards with the business, and then what he is also looking towards the business and what he expects from me, and kind of having those conversations. So we're in the process of doing that as we speak. So I think for me, finding a balance is big. That's the big part for me. Once I feel like I can find a balance, I'm all hands down. Like I'm ready to go. Like has no reservations at all. Like I'm in it. This is what I want to do till I retire. And that's just my yeah.
Okay, Mr. Founder.
Yeah, I agree with that. Uh, she has to be able to make up the mind, uh, to be able to get heavily involved in the situation. But I think now with the situation in terms of relationship, I think it's completely different from before. So hopefully she will show the interest and then be able to get heavily involved, come out with new ideas, suggestions. We can sit down and as she's rightly said, we are meeting very soon to just have a real hard decision making, what to do to be able to help her transit from that situation, what she's in right now, to be able to come over and take over completely.
I think when it comes to these discussions, sometimes it gets very emotional, right? It gets. So do you do you agree that it's important to sometimes bring in the experts, get somebody, a third party to sit in, or you prefer to do heart to heart? Just
No, we tried. We tried heart to heart. And that, I think for me, it got emotional more because you don't even want to think about the ending. So you just kind of say, oh, we'll do it. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. But it started to get too much, pushing it back, pushing it back. And that's when I said, hey, no, we need to really have a hard conversation about this, and it can't be me that initiates it. It has to be an outside party to come in and help us, because it's going to get too hard for me to fathom, like, my dad's not there and then I'm the one running it in. It's going to get a little emotional.
it is. I think, and so that's why you tend to sweep it, and no, we'll get to it later, right? So well done for doing that. Ms. Oduro, you've been talking a lot about Nina, but in the beginning, you mentioned how you left two girls with your wife and all of that. So when it comes to the family business, I mean, Nina is key, she's CEO, but do you have the other family members involved at all? Like, are they involved in any way? Maybe not active, but board meetings, they show up, or in any other way?
Now, right now, I think she's the one that is basically, and also my wife uh, is partly handling one part of the company, Uniwa Pharmaceutical. Okay, so basically, she's also playing a part. But as a board, I have her, myself, and then I think about three or four outsiders forming the board of directors. So I think so far it's been working. And what we need to do is to be able to meet periodically, to be able to talk more about the company. And also, I have in mind that the company should look in a situation of diversification, okay, that will help the company to be sustained in the near future. If we're able to diversify in such a good way, good manner, then hopefully we will be able to. Yeah.
Because currently it's all health related, right?
It's all health related, but even health related, I think I don't see any reason why we cannot think about producing, manufacturing the hospital items.
That's next level.
Yes, I want us to go to the next level because I don't see why we go to the hospital and say there's no hospital bed or something. What kind of crazy thinking is that? Why can't we get the help to produce the beds locally? To be like the same as we import.
So that's when Nina says, big shoes to fill because he's dreaming big and
Oh
working
yeah,
hard.
but she can say that, but at the same time, this is something that should come easily. This is the products you sell. When with the bank, you tell people your product. And what are the products? Savings, investment, account, and all those things. These are the products of the bank. So what about healthcare? Ghana is, oh, we took the patient and there's no, the hospital is saying no bed, no bed. So we can produce the best here. If we can get help, we can produce help, meaning financial help, to be able to set up. And this is what we have to think about. Or even here, think about having a joint venture with the real producers, they can bring in them in a knockout form. And then all we do locally is to put them together and we have the best.
Visionary. He's giving you ideas. And then you have your experience from working corporate, from the marketing to all this. Like, you have what it takes. So, Nina,
No, she's going to do it.
yes,
She should do it.
Yes, yes, I
She should
agree.
do
I
it.
agree.
And that's
I,
how we're going to be able to sustain because they need it. The need is there. It's not a situation where the need is not there. It's there. So produce it and then make it happen. Then we can even enter into government arrangement. We can produce so much for you, pay us on a quarterly basis, that kind of thing. And then it brings in money.
Are you ready?
I am
He should be.
ready.
He should be ready.
All right. So just to wrap up, we tend to have this thing where I want you to give advice to your classmates, the founders. One advice you can give, in working a family business, what do you tell them to do? And then Nina, you do same for the next gens. What one advice, just one key takeaway. We'll start with you, Mr. Oduro.
Yeah, a family business, to me, this is the way I find is a little bit different from working in any other company that you have no connection with. If you don't have any connection with, you do it anyhow. But this is the family business. This is what helped to pay your school fees and everything. So if you want to sustain it, you should put in all your whatever to make it be sustained. So I think my advice to my fellow businessmen or founders of companies is we should get our children or uh, you know heavily involved, and especially they show interest in what we're doing. We should help them, get them well educated in the field towards the company, what we're doing, so that they could go back and come in and then be able to take over from us. Because I really wish I had done this earlier, because I will have more time to take my wife away somewhere and relax, vacations. Now you see the Europeans or the white men, about 40, they're thinking of retiring when they're 50. But here, we think of retiring when we go into even 80, we're still working.
Like, stop and go and enjoy life.
Yes. So this is the situation. You young men behind the scene, when you really become really good and you see how you made it, if any of your kids are interested, get them involved as early as possible.
As early as possible.
Yeah.
That's key.
Thank you.
You. All right, Nina, for the next gens.
For the next gens, I think the biggest thing is to have an understanding that when you come into the family business, and it may have seemed different, obnoxious, wild, all over the place, I think you have to have the mindset that a lot of times the founder or the parent or the aunts or the uncle, whoever started or founded the business, that wasn't the mindset that they came in. They came in with the mindset of survival and to provide for the family. So creating certain systems and structures wasn't their first obligation. So coming in and having that level of understanding, a founder thinks on a visionary type of perspective. And the next gen has to really think of, okay, I have my vision too, and I have my inspirations as well. But they did it to lay a foundation for us. So try to find some patience, gratitude, and a big level of mindfulness in how you even want to move forward to pursue the vision or the aspiration that you have for the business the next years to come. So.
This is like a masterclass. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe and Nina. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Super grateful for honoring our invitation. Okay. See, I promised you guys this is going to be an extraordinary episode, and there you have it. Lots of nuggets. I'm sure you've taken lots of notes. Remember also that Mr. Oduro has been nice enough to write a book telling us about his story. So we'll get the dates when it comes out, and then you should check it out. But thank you so much for being a part of this episode. Remember, we release new episodes monthly, and you can find us on YouTube at Family Business Diaries, also on social media, Family Business Diaries, and you can also check us on all podcast streaming platforms. Also, check out our website, familybusinesshub.co, and see you on the next episode. Bye.